It's hot yet super cool at the same time. It's a Suzuki Jimny. The Jimny has been around since 1970, yet this new model is only its fourth generation. It started with the LJ or Light Jeep 10, and not much has changed. Rugged, capable, and distinctively packaged. The second generation Jimny began production in 1981, known as the SJ30, with either a 550cc or 660cc 3-cylinder engine, before being lengthened, widened, and exported with bigger engines and a multitude of names. Before the third generation arrived in 1998 and, well, literally never left. Well, until 2018, that is. An uninterrupted production run of 20 years. Unheard of. Suzuki must have been tempted to make big changes with this fourth generation Jimny, but I'm so happy to tell you that they haven't. Instead, they have celebrated the icon's lineage and packaged with retro modern styling that is a genuine knockout. The upturned front fender, round headlights, and round orange indicators, well, they take you back to the LJ, while the clamshell bonnet and the side slits were the standout features from the second generation SJ. The third generation's upright grille has been retained, but seen here is a heritage grille, different design and Suzuki badge replaced with the name. Super cool. The entire range runs on 15-inch wheels, either in steel or alloy. The steel wheels and black door handles and the mirrors let you know we are rolling in the entry-level GA derivative. In my opinion, this is the right way to go. But Tavcore Suzuki have pimped this ride with Suzuki-approved aftermarket components from Frontrunner, like the roof rack with jerry can, ammo box, spade, as well as a bike rack and ladder. The more upright roof pillars not only ensure fantastic all-round visibility, but the roof can now carry more weight. The all-round drip rail makes it super easy to clamp anything on here, but word of caution, the Jimny now sits 20mm higher than before, taking the ground clearance to 210mm, and with its compact proportions, it's already top heavy, and a brick isn't the most aerodynamic either. They've also fitted the rain and wind deflectors, mud flaps, as well as the general grabber all-terrain tyres. I love the cladding and the squared wheel arches, which are not for cosmetic purposes only. It allows more wheel travel and easier access when changing tyres. I last drove the Jimny back in 2018 when it launched, and I've honestly forgotten just how much attention this car attracts. You'd swear I've pulled up in a G-Wagon, but most surprising for me actually has been that it's the women that really love the way the car looks. But before you all go and rush out and buy one, the package is by no means perfect. Now, although the on-road manners are much improved over the previous generation, that short wheelbase with the ladder frame chassis and the box-like proportions, which make the Jimny so formidable off-road, make it a wallow on-road. The steering responsiveness has been improved, but you're still going to find it very, very busy when you are cruising at highway speeds at 120 km an hour to keep your Jimny pointed on the straight and narrow. But fortunately today in Port Elizabeth, it's a friendly city and not the windy city, because I reckon you add a crosswind to the equation and it's going to make for a very busy ride. Now, even though they have upsized the engine from a 1.3 litre petrol to 1.5 litre, it is naturally aspirated and the output figures are modest to say the least. You've got 75 kilowatts and 130 Newton meters, with a choice of either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed auto, but I think irrespective of what you take, tackling a long road trip is going to be a painstaking task. The Jimny will get to cruising speed on the highway of 120, but it's going to be pretty high up in the rev range in fifth, so it makes for quite a noisy in-cabin experience. You might think, well, wouldn't it be great if there was a sixth gear? But I don't think there's enough power to play with, because the minute you hit an incline in fifth, there's no difference when you gear down to fourth, and you're going to find yourself having to take third gear to get any traction out of it. But the gear ratios are really, really good for cruising around in town, and obviously perfect when you are off the beaten track where the Jimny belongs. They have improved the space for the driver. There's a lot more travel on the seat adjustments, and the headroom is actually really impressive when you consider the diminutive dimensions. Even though the steering only has height adjustment, I found myself easily able to set up a very comfortable driving position. But I don't think the same can be said for what's happening in the rear. Yes, Suzuki have improved the overall space for passengers in the back, but I think you're still going to find it pretty compact sitting back there. And there literally is no boot when the seats are up. But fold them flat and you have 830 litres to play with, the default setting for me. The front seats can fold to load longer items or for sleeping. While the entry-level GA has a bench seat, the GLX has individual seats cleverly finished in a hard-wearing plastic backing. With the hook points below the windows and in the floor, the packages are going to be way happier than the passengers. But more concerning for me is your butt is literally right over that rear solid axle, and I think it's going to make for a very bumpy ride, certainly off-road. The no-nonsense exterior is followed through to the interior. It's simple, robust and hard-wearing. It's kind of like you've screwed together your own Meccana Jimny. I love the squared-up detailing and the very handy grip rails for the rough stuff. The entry-level GA test unit is very basic. No leather touches, no multifunction steering, no cruise control, electric windows or mirrors, no remote central locking, and crucially, no 7-inch touchscreen with smartphone connectivity. Things which may tempt you to go for the GLX. Or you do what Tavcore Suzuki did here and fit an approved aftermarket infotainment unit and remote locking with alarm. But for all intents and purposes, the Jimny is a two-seater. I think you should think of this like the MX-5 for the rough stuff, and that is really where it shines. Driving out with a big smile on our face because there were some guys with some very expensive toys, and our little 300,000 Rand Jimny was showing them up big time. It really is all about that short wheelbase, the visibility, the maneuverability. It's what makes it such a formidable off-road vehicle, and it also weighs nothing. I literally could probably put this on my back with a backpack. They've obviously got their patented X-brace that they've gone and brought between the two rigid axles. And that obviously adds a lot of rigidity and stability to the Jimny. What's incredible too, I mean, we're sitting here without a lockable diff, and it's literally just using the traction control system and obviously gripping the brake to give you the traction where you need it most with the all-wheel drive system. And it's incredible how capable it is. Obviously the low range does help big time. And I've been sitting in low range, second gear, and it's happy to rev. Coming out on the highway, the usual bitching and moaning about the wallow, and it doesn't do much over 120. But that's not what the Jimny's about. It's about trying to spend as little time on a tar road as possible. Come adventuring, go into the Bavians, play in the sand dunes. That's where it's most comfortable. But 2 years ago, when it launched, I was in love, and that love affair continues. It looks good, and it performs even better. impressive, eh? Yeah, I think the Jimny for me is actually the perfect second car, and at the price point, it's actually possible. Suzuki have somehow managed to maintain an entry-level price point just below 300,000 Rand for the GA derivative. An extra 35,000 Rand for the GLX is going to get you all the creature comforts as well as doubling your service plan. Adding the convenience of an automatic transmission will take your Jimny to the 357,000 Rand mark. For more information, you can visit the Suzuki South Africa website, or you can chat with Yves and his team at Tavcore Auto Sales. I won't forget when Suzuki unveiled the Jimny in 2018 at the Festival of Motoring. There were some incredible cars on display that weekend, but this was the car that I went to see. This was my showstopper, this old school, low-tech, 300,000 Rand Japanese icon that is the Suzuki Jimny. I love it.